Hey YouTube, welcome to the next episode in my series on photographing the American Southwest landscapes. I'm in Long Canyon in southern Utah. Long Canyon is here, along this stretch of the road called the Bird Trail, out here east of the town of Boulder. The Bird Trail is a spectacularly scenic backcountry road that works its way into the southern end of Capitol Reef National Park and then on down to Lake Powell. I visited Long Canyon in the mid-morning when the sun reflects beautiful warm light off the cliff faces on the northwest side of the canyon and bounces onto the cliff faces on the southeast side of the canyon. Let's continue back in the field. And really enjoying the photography here today. Got a pretty dynamic situation though. So you can see the far side of this canyon is lit by the sun, and I'm in the shady side, but all that reflected light coming from the sunny side is reflecting in here, providing some really beautiful light on the red rock. Secondly, we've got these really cool trees in here, and I love these trees, and I want to put the trees up against the red rock and kind of look for like parts of the tree that are kind of like bonsai like effect going on here, and profile that tree against the rock. But I also need a focus stack because there's some distance between the tree and the rock, so it's a challenging situation. Because it's also windy. so right now it's perfect. So there's no wind and I got the reflected light. But we've also got clouds in the sky. And so the amount of reflected light is changing. So very dynamic. We got variation in reflected light. We got variation in the wind. And I got to do this point focus stack. Focus for the tree, focus for the rock, and I'll stack this together in software to make one sharp composite image. So one of the techniques I'm using here, because I have a 2-image focus stack, is first I am focusing on the tree. So I set my focus point in the tree, I focus on it, then I move my focus point to the rock, but not focus yet. So I'm ready to go, right? I'm ready to take that first shot, and so I wait for the reflected light to be right. I wait for the tree to stop moving, for the wind to calm down and the tree to stop moving. And when those conditions are set, which is only about 5% of the time, I can fire off that first shot, hit the focus button, which then I've already got my focus point on the rock, so instantly the camera focuses on the rock and I can fire that second shot, all within about 1 to 2 seconds. Now I need to pause here to explain one important thing. Most cameras by default engage focus as you start to press the shutter release button. On my camera, however, I've separated the focusing function from the shutter release button. This process I'm explaining here only works when you assign the focus function to a separate button on your camera, so you can focus separately from pressing the shutter release. On Sony cameras, there's a function called AF with shutter, so you would need to set that to off, and then use a custom key menu to assign the autofocus to another button on your camera, like I've done here on the back of my camera. So that's a good technique to use if you have a 2-point focus stack and you have highly dynamic conditions with both, like for example, wind coming and going and reflected light coming and going. It allows you to be very reactive and get those 2 shots off really quick. So here's what it looks like through the viewfinder of the camera. Okay, so you can see the first focus point there on the tree. So what I'll do there is go ahead and focus on that. Then I'll move the focus point to the rocks in the background. But I won't focus there yet. So what I'll do now is I'll wait for a lull in the wind, like now, and I can go ahead and take my first shot, focus on the tree. As soon as that shot's done, I can quickly just press the autofocus button, and I focus on the rocks and I can take that shot. So I don't have to go through the task of manually moving the focal point, the focus point. It's already there, ready to go for that second shot. So that's the concept for a 2-shot focus stack. That's pretty quick when you're dealing with a time-critical thing like wind blowing branches or some changing of light. Yeah, this is just a really beautiful scenario here with this little grove of pines right at the base of the cliff. So I'm just kind of walking amongst it, looking for compositions that put nicely shaped trees up against those red rocks. Looking for simple compositions. It's pretty cluttered in here, obviously, but so looking for simple trees that can be isolated against the red rocks. Wow, just look at that red rock. Isn't that incredible? Got beautiful reflected light on it right now. So I'm using a medium zoom 24 to 105 millimeter lens. Good range for isolating trees. If you're visiting Long Canyon, you must stop at Singing Canyon. It is located here about 1.3 miles from the hairpin turn at the south end of Long Canyon. There's a good pullout to park in, but it's not signed, so be sure to use your odometer to not miss it. Singing Canyon is also called Long Canyon Slot. This video clip will walk you from the parking lot, across the wash, and all the way to the back of Singing Canyon, which only takes about 2 minutes. This video will give you a good feel for the terrain and the photographic opportunities. There are some really wonderful trees here at the entrance of the canyon, which we'll come back to. The canyon here at the back is probably 10 feet wide, but over 100 feet deep. Looking back towards the entrance, I love the silhouetted shapes of the trees there. And so I set up to make some photos.